I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes when I be going on these dates, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think. Sometimes I wonder, is there even a wallet in that purse? You know what I'm saying?
If you're gonna have a single parent household, come on now. Like 9 times out of 10, what color are those people gonna be?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Come on now. Like, we're going to talk about it if we're going to talk about it. So my point is,
Creep up, it can really get messy. Brown ting, come on phone, wanna check me. I ain't really tryna kick it like Messi, but her head game good, so messy. When she hear this song, she gon' text me. She gon' be like, shit's really getting lit.
Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Alexander podcast. And on today's episode, I got a special guest in the building. My childhood friend, he goes by the name of Bleak. Bleak, what's going on, man?
chilling, bro. What are you saying?
I'm good. It's about time. You know, I took a little break, but we're finally back to recording these episodes in person now, not just on Zoom.
You were saying this is the first in person?
This is the very, 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 very first in-person interview I've done.
Okay, the inaugural.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So how does it feel to be the first person on this?
I mean, it feels good. It feels natural because, you know, me and you, we don't even have to say it. It's 100. So, you know, for me to be here on the first one, I appreciate it. Thank you, bro.
Anytime. And I definitely got to have you back again because, you know, there's going to be a lot of special guests coming on and I need you to be included.
Every time.
Okay. But before we get into this interview, the first thing I want to ask you is speak about your upbringing. What was that like?
Well, I mean, you know it well. A lot of people do. Bro, it started off rough. I mean, age of 10, had to start slinging dope. By 12, shot my first 9. You know what I'm saying? So it was rough. No, all kidding aside, it's just normal upbringing. My parents brought me up normal, you know what I'm saying? Played hockey, just like you. You know what I'm saying? We were big into the church. As a matter of fact, as you know, me and my daughter just came from church right now.
Okay.
And brought up in the church, big into sports, big into competition in this neighborhood. And that was it. You know, it wasn't really into the party vibe or anything like that young. Things changed as I got a little bit older. But that's kind of the way it went. That was the Appleway's way. Hold
on. You said you're speaking about the church and sports. So how did you get into the church? Was it like a family thing or was it something you just liked when you just came out of the womb? How did it go?
Well, I mean, if you're going to be honest with you, like it started with my mom. So
Right.
It was a family thing, but it was one particular person. And then she just recruited everybody one by one. Even my dad wasn't really big into it. And then brought us all into it over time. So then even to this day now, still go to church. You know what I mean? So it's an important thing. It's important to me.
Okay, I hear that. I respect that. And the second thing I want to ask is, we got to talk about basketball. Because a lot of people don't know was you were highly recruited back in the day. We're talking about the early 2000s?
Early 2000s, yeah.
So, and I remember as I was a young kid coming up, I remember you were all in the newspapers.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel? Do you feel like you didn't get your fair shake because you see dudes like Andrew Wiggins, Shea Alexander, and certain Canadians getting into the league way more easier than you did back in the day? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It depends. I mean, my thoughts on that, it depends on what your goals are. Because the only regret anybody would have for not making the NBA is pretty much that you didn't get a chance to get rich. But, okay, I get that. I definitely would have liked to sign an Andrew Wiggins, $100 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pop that champagne with the Warriors. But from a pure basketball level, I mean, you guys got to understand, it's not about 2002. We're talking 2023. I still put in work. So it's like Andrew Wiggins, if you come down to the block, I'm giving you work from a pure basketball perspective. Who's the next guy who plays for the Nuggets? The guy from
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray. You come to the block, you're getting work. Kyle Lowry, if you come back, so that's where it is. But in terms of the whole money NBA thing, that's just how it goes. No regrets whatsoever.
But to dig deeper, was there like a specific reason why you didn't take your talents like to the States and blow up? Because I'm not gonna lie, certain mans couldn't really test you in the Canadian market back then.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, the answer to that is education.
Okay.
Because not education in terms of school, just like knowledge in terms of how like the system works. Because
Right.
when you're a youth like that, now it's different because there's a lot of people in the community, and there's like streamlined things.
Right.
But at that point, there wasn't so many older people in the community saying like, this is what you should do. So in my mind, you're looking at people from the States getting scholarships. You're just reading about it. It seems like it's just like gonna happen, but you have to make certain steps, make certain decisions. But like I said, back in the day, there wasn't as many channels and people in the community like kind of schooling you. So you're just a kid, just like, oh, I'm just gonna chill out at home.
Right.
And this is even before the internet too.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna chill at home and I'm gonna go to Duke. But no, it doesn't necessarily work like that. But I understand that now.
So did you have any regrets? Like, oh, I wish I was born 10 years later.
I can't speak on regret, and I know people always say that, but like, because you could even take it back, like when I was leaving middle school.
Right.
At the time, Eastern Commerce was a very big school. Jamal McGlure, Kentucky, big dog, and the list goes on and on and on. But at that particular time, my mom, because it's far, well, relatively speaking, because you're a kid.
Yeah.
So I could have went to Eastern just fine. I went to the Eastern tournament in middle school and wrecked. But my mom was like, I don't want you to go that far.
Okay.
So then you can't really speak on regret, because who knows? You go down there, who knows what you get caught up in.
True, very true.
So you might not go to the NBA and you might not go nowhere.
True, very true.
So I can't really, I don't like to play Geppetto like that with the strings.
True. I hear that. Mm-hmm. And even though I was a little younger at those times, I can say it's kind of messed up because Canada as a whole, we didn't really have the resources that the States have. So I feel like there could have been a lot more stars coming out of Canada back then, but we just didn't have the proper channels, as you said earlier.
Well, well, I mean, I could throw it at you too a little bit, because the same thing on the music side.
You know, a lot of people don't know that I do the music, but we could talk about it.
Well, we don't even necessarily, but like even just in general on the music side, right? Because there was a lot of artists coming out of Toronto, that were doing their thing in Toronto. I'm not even talking about just rap. I'm talking about artists.
Yeah.
Period, including rap. But they didn't have the same exposure. And now it's a lot easier. Like, so people popping up left, right, and center. So it's just a progression. It's just a growth.
And I think it had also what adds to that. Well, what I would like to add to that is it has to do a lot with guidance too.
Yes.
Because even like myself, you know, I used to play hockey and make music and stuff. But back then when we were younger, we didn't really have the proper guidance. Mm-hmm. We didn't really know, like, and this is maybe just when the internet was starting, because like the time when we were coming up, it's like when Soulja Boy just got big. Yeah. So we didn't really have the guidance to know to put the stuff on YouTube and get big. You know, it's not like how it is now.
It's not how it is now, and now it's a lot more, I wouldn't say watered down, but just like more concentrated. There's a lot coming in, but I mean, to the young people coming up, like I hope they do their thing, whether it's YouTube, whether it's art in terms of like visual art, audio art, whatever the case may be. Yeah,
we really can't dwell on the past, to be honest. You know, it is what it is.
I mean, I don't really want to. Like, I mean, because you remember Big Dog from the Six, Drizzy Drake. He's like, I don't speak on those days. Like, I miss him. Like,
true.
Like, I'm actually pretty happy and content with the way things are going right now.
True. To segue into the next topic, you got to talk about being a single father with 2 kids. We a lot of the times we hear the perspective coming from a female, but I would really want to hear a perspective coming from the male. Speak on that.
Yo, it's good. My daughters are here too, actually.
Yeah, they're in the back. They're in the back.
They're here. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a loaded question. Like, for me, I guess the first thing I would say to anybody, whether you're a single father or, in a relationship when you have children, is you should want to have children. Like, I feel like what I observe is like a lot of people have kids because they reach a certain point in life, whether it's age, financial stability, pressure from parents, or whatever the case may be.
Correct.
So they end up having a kid, but you don't necessarily want one. You're just like, well, I don't know, like, this is what I should do right now. I suggest that my opinion, people should not do that because it will feel like a chore. For me, it's not a chore.
It's like a blessing.
It's like a blessing. Like, it's a blessing, and I'm really happy to be in this position. But that being said, it's not always easy. You know what I'm saying?
So elaborate on that. Like, why isn't it always easy for the people like myself who don't have any kids and want to learn?
Well, here's the thing. So, like, you go onto the gram, the big gram.
Yes,
right?
IG,
like,
yes.
You got the picture, the family portrait, the caricature at the birthday party.
Correct.
New Year's Eve, and all these different events, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just looks great, like from the outside looking in. It's like,
right.
Oh man, this looks amazing. But like, what's not being put on the gram is the time in between those situations, the 6 a.m. wake ups, the late nights, all these type of things, depending on the age of the child too, the diapers,
yeah,
and the list goes on and on. But so I only say that because somebody told me that one time when I was very young, before I was having kids. I was probably like 20.
What'd they say?
And this girl from my high school, I ran into her. And she was the first person that actually was honest with me because everyone else is just looking was happy. She's like, it's not easy. It's not easy. But like I said, if you actually want kids, then the work it's like if you train and going back to basketball, you wake up in the morning and train 5 hours a day. That's not really work if that's what you want to do.
True.
So all I would recommend is, number one, make sure you want to have kids, and number two, right? Because we didn't touch on this. Have them with somebody you love.
Yes, but in today's day and age, it's not really like that because a lot of people are having children with people they don't love. It might be a one night, it might be a week, like.
But that's a problem. Like,
yeah.
That's a problem because, like, for me, like, with the stress of the relationship in terms of the man and the woman just trickles down like a waterfall, right? And it's going to manifest itself in so many ways that you don't even necessarily know. So with that being said, though, who knows what the future holds? So, like, you may have a child with somebody you love, and then as time goes on, maybe that love isn't as lovely as it once was. That's fine, but you still want to make that, whatever that relationship is with your child's mom, whether it's your wife, PM, the list goes on, good, because if it's not, it's like the virus that goes through the matrix. It's right. A problem.
Okay, so to dig a little deeper, in your opinion, do you think relationships might become non-existent in the future, the way things are going right now?
If that was the case, I mean, when that day comes and I'm out.
What do you mean you're out?
I'm taking myself out of here. I'm out.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm out of here because that's just a cornerstone for me. Like, that's a very important to me, like, relationship.
Yeah.
Woman, to me, that's extremely important. But in terms of the way I see things going, nah, man. Like, I mean, no. Like, that can't go away. I mean, it's just the cornerstone of life.
Because, no, what I mean by relationships becoming non-existent, I mean that, like, no one is really saying, like, dudes are not really going up to women saying, I want you to be my girlfriend and be with them only. They want to have multiple.
You're referring to, let's just call it the urban community. So if you want to say that it's non-existent in the future in certain communities, we can have the conversation. But if you're talking about the broader scheme of things, no. Like, I mean, because then you're getting away from families, right? And this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. But so in certain communities, it's been like that in certain communities for a hot minute.
Yeah.
A hot minute. How is it going to change? I don't know. I don't want to say I don't care, because I do care. I care about the human race. I'm Michael Jackson. I care about the human race. But at the end of the day, I'm going to focus on myself and my family, and I'm about families.
True.
So, and I'm going to talk about it right now. I'm talking about it, and whoever's listening, whether you're young, older, whatever the case may be, you listen or you don't, it's up to you.
Do you believe in relationships both genders want different things? Because some say men value inexperience while women value experience. And the reason why I say that is most men, you know,
Yeah.
don't really want a woman that's been all around town. But on the flip side, most women want a man that has been around town because he has experience. And, you know, women go for security as far as, and men really don't. So do you believe in that? You think that's true?
I do. It's 100% true. Like, that's 100% true. I think that just goes back to even a biological level. Like, I don't even think that's a societal, like, influence. I just think that comes down to this, like, biology. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with that. I personally don't look at it through that lens, but that point you just made is a legit one. Like, that's generally how it works. Me, I just like to link up with somebody I like. But, you know what I'm saying? Subconsciously, you know, I probably fall into that boat too, because depending on who you've seen me with at any given time, I can fall into that. And that's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm cool with that. You cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
I'm cool.
I'm cool with that. Because you know me, I'm a man, not gonna lie, you know, I might have a 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? I might, you know, because I'm just a man, I survey the scene.
Okay.
That's why I had to ask you earlier, do you think relationships will become non-existent? And the reason why I say that is because it's crazy out here, man. It's crazy.
So now I understand where you're going, where you're coming from with this. You're coming from your personal. You're coming from your personal, and I had a feeling
as well as others.
No, I'm not saying
because, like I said, I survey the scene, I survey the land. I'm seeing what's going on.
Yo,
it's crazy.
Others are involved, but you're preaching right now your vantage point, correct?
Well, listen, a wise man once told me you learn from the mistakes of others. So if I have friends and other people that be getting screwed over or burned by the opposite gender, I don't want to make those same mistakes. That's why I'm saying it's kind of hard out here for us, man. It's hard.
Okay, so like, I mean, no, like for me, the learning points is not quite that broad. To me, I'm talking about me now. Like,
right.
I'm not gonna say like because I saw somebody get screwed over, because then no, I'm gonna look at the specific things that he did to get screwed over, whether it's his personal behavior, whether it's you chose the wrong person from the beginning.
True.
And we all could have seen it.
And that's a big thing. A lot of people choose the wrong person. Both genders, but continue.
Both genders. Like, there's so many things that could have went wrong, but I'm not gonna just write off a whole vibe because it went wrong for some people. I'm gonna analyze them and I'll be like, all right, you know, I'm not gonna do that because 9 times out of 10 it doesn't really work. And but you can't really predict it, because also you know what the thing is, the longer it depends. Like, say for example, if you meet somebody when they're 18,
right,
and then you have a long relationship, that person is gonna be a different person when they're 30.
But you see, okay, continue. I got something to say.
No, you could jump in there.
But what I think too, it's like the longer a person may be in a relationship with somebody, I find they tend to get complacent.
Yeah,
they get comfortable, and that's not always good. And I think that might be the root of the problem, because once someone gets complacent, the other person may feel neglected and look elsewhere.
That is probably something that goes on, but like, I personally cannot speak. I can comment in terms of opinion-wise, in terms of what I'm seeing going on, but like, for me personally, I've never
dealt with that,
been
in those situations
in a long time.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit here and say never,
right?
But I hit a certain point where I've never been in a complacent situation. Because a lot of times people are talking about what girls do wrong, but what are guys doing wrong?
Yeah. Both genders have to be held accountable.
Both genders,
you know,
because the narrative out here is like, oh, if there's a breakup, then the girl screwed him over. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but more often than not, we need more information. Like, what was going on at home? What were you guys talking about at home? Like, you know what I mean? We need more info. Like,
true. I just think, so you're saying both parties need to take accountability when it's needed.
I just think that guys are getting a free pass, you know what I'm saying? And every time there's a problem or there's a breakup, it's just that the girl gets blamed. But I'm just like, well, I need to know what the dude is doing at home on a daily basis. Like, are you going out every night? Are you not coming home every night? Are you lying? Do you have a third party in the mix that's unknown? And did you at some point, all these things get put in the melting pot, and then there's an outcome.
Yes, but my rebuttal to that is because usually things in the beginning tend to run smooth. Because someone may be like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want, come and go as you please. But then they want to. Sometimes people may switch, and that might not be what the man or the woman signed up for.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of mentioning earlier. Like sometimes in a relationship, again, especially if you meet somebody young, that can happen because you're not meeting a final product. Like it's a young person, like she's 18, 17, even 19, even 20, like, you know what I'm saying? And then when they're 35, 30, they may have changed. That can happen. And if it happens, it's just like,
yeah,
it's just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But people are entitled to change too.
So speaking of changing, what are your thoughts on people in relationships that compete with each other when they should complement each other?
That's a big problem.
Why?
Well, because I feel like in 2022 is where we're at. Things are a little bit more gray in terms of gender responsibilities. I'm not saying anything that everybody doesn't already know, right? As opposed to like before, the roles and responsibilities were very clearly outlined. You're going to do this and I'm going to do that, and never the two shall meet. But in 2022, it's entirely possible that your girlfriend, your significant other,
right,
makes potentially more money than you. And then at that point, then, based on history, you should probably take somewhat of like a house role. I'm not saying be a house dad. I'm saying based on the model that's been presented to us, not based on gender, just based on role. Like if you're making money, then I'm cleaning or something like that. So when you talk about complimenting, I'm like, all right, that's just one scenario. Like if your girl is making more money, especially if it's significant. Like say, for example, if you have a kid, right? Mm-hmm. And then they have the parental leave at the beginning of a child's life.
Right.
You're going to make your girl who makes a lot more money than you go home and cost the family money? Or are you going to stay home while she's making the proper dough? So that's when you compliment in that situation.
I agree with you. But the thing is, the way how I think girls may be wired is, I think once they start making more than the male, things change because they feel they might need a guy that's on their level or higher. Because from what I see and what I know, girls tend to not downgrade or go down or backwards. They like to be at the same level or elevate. Whereas guys, we could care less what a woman is really making, you know, because we know, as the old saying goes, his money is his and hers is hers. You know what I mean?
Well, that part of it, okay, so like, you know, I've been very complimentary in terms of females, but that's one thing I feel like girls need to kind of take a little step forward on in terms of like, if you want to be the quote unquote dude, well, the dude was sharing the dough, doing all that kind of stuff. Like you can't just, but
it's very rare where a girl will say, you know, I got this. Yo, sometimes, I'm not even gonna lie, sometimes when I be going on these dates, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think, sometimes I wonder, is there even a wallet in that purse? You know what I'm saying?
No, hold on, sorry. No, I feel you. This guy said, "Is there even?" No. Well, I mean, I'm not on the dating scene, but like, I mean, in various situations, you do ask yourself that question.
Yeah,
you do ask yourself that question, and listen. You're preaching to the ladies right now, and they need to respond in a positive way. Like you can't, because it got to a point where now women are in a perfect position,
Of course.
where they're getting their cake and eating
Yes.
it too on both sides.
Yes.
So I don't know what the solution. When I have that conversation with girls, they give me the Kanye shrug. No,
It's easy?
They give me the Kanye shrug because they're just like, well, perfect. And sure, I mean, they got to a good place and it's all good.
True. We just hopefully going forward, both genders can just do better and we can just have a kumbaya moment and live happily ever after. You know what I mean?
I guess so, but I just want to throw in one thing. And we
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
to stick on
anything.
it. It's just a quick little point. Like, we're talking about on an aggregate level. I personally have not experienced that, but from an aggregate level, I do see that going on, which is why, you know what, you can't develop your opinion just based on the aggregate or just based on, you know, the overall scene, because everybody's different.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna dig a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? We gotta come with the real talk, you know what I mean? Because I got you in the building, you know what I'm saying? First in-person interview, you know what I'm saying? So we gotta get down to the nitty-gritty.
Real life things, let's do it.
Real life, you know what I'm saying? So are you gonna answer this next question truthfully?
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know what the question is gonna be, and I don't know if it's gonna be the way you want. But I'm gonna answer it truthfully.
True. All right. So is there any relationships you'd ever like to take back or wish you never got into?
Oh man,
We're digging deep tonight.
Yo, I mean, honestly, man, no, because like, here's the thing you got to remember too. Like, again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier when you asked me the question with Wiggins and stuff like that. It's like, what's your barometer for success? Like, you have to ask yourself that question. Like, what exactly makes me successful? Right? There's some dudes, going back to the NBA, like, if you make it to the NBA, that's the success. Like, and then there's their trophy, and I don't need to do anything more.
Right.
So to bring it to this specific question, okay, here's the barometer for success, right? That people put on relationships. This is what it is. It's ingrained. Longevity. Mm-hmm. Like, the longer your relationship is, this is why we celebrate when grandma and grandpa, you know what I mean, get to their 40th wedding anniversary.
Right.
Even if, excuse my, you know, but I'm just being honest, even if grandpa was whooping grandma's ass for the past 40 years, we don't care. You got to 40 years, so we're going to rent out the hall and throw a party. So for me, some people may look at some of our relationships and be like, they're short in nature, like 2, 3, 4 years. So they might be like, you aren't successful. So you're wrong. My relationships were successful. They just weren't long. So I can't regret them just because they ended, because I'm not using the barometer of length for my success.
Okay. So do you value ones more than the other, or are they all on the same? We're digging deep tonight, man.
There's levels. Remember Meek?
There's levels?
Remember
yes, we all know the Meek Mill song.
There's definitely levels to it, but like, I mean, I wouldn't put it in terms of like first, second, third. It's just different levels for sure. And it goes back to kind of what we're talking about. Like, you may have done something with somebody, therefore you put them on the pedestal, but that's not necessarily the case for me. The short answer is just level set. There's level set.
All right. Okay. Shout out one of my favorite artists, R.I.P. King Von. You know, I don't know if you know who King Von is, but
I don't know his
you know, he had his hit song Crazy Story. Mm-hmm. The reason why I say that is we need a crazy story from you. What is one of the craziest relationships you've been in?
Well, you said two different things. You said like crazy story or crazy relationship.
Yes, and then when you give one of the crazy relationships you've been in, what was a crazy story that may have happened?
Well, so like, I mean, I didn't hear the King Von track, right? I heard King Von. He's not really in my like Rolodex of music per se.
Right.
No disrespect to the dude, but I would assume he's referring to like crazy stuff.
Yeah,
like
crazy stories that he's
burned down my house, like Lisa Left Eye Lopez, stuff like that. But like when I hear that, I bring up, actually, I'm glad you started with King Von, because I bring up Eric Clapton, and you got to remember when he's coming with Crazy Love. Mm-hmm. you gave me love, crazy love. So to me, that's the craziest relationship I've been in, where you get. This is where it gets hard to describe, but like when you get to that level of love with somebody, that's crazy to me.
True.
Like that stuff is really, really crazy, because you got to remember, like, you meet a stranger and then that person now becomes like Casey and JoJo, like close to me. Like,
Yeah.
like it gets to that level, and you're just like, how'd you get into that inner circle like that? Like,
True.
Wait a minute, what?
True.
Like, so for me, like, without any like specific story per se, it's just like, because it's not even a story, it's just life. Like, you know, just everyday life with somebody that you get to that level with. We've talked about this before off camera, right? And I'll bring up like things that I'm looking for in a relationship, or things that I'm looking for in a partner, and people have disagreed, right? You've been in these conversations, you've been in these rooms or these yards, but the thing is, that's just for me, right? Like, that is what makes a relationship crazy to me. Like, I don't need the whole, like I said, burning down the house. I don't need the burning down the clothes. I don't need the, and I'll stop it there.
True.
Because it's not that I haven't necessarily been in those situations.
Correct.
I just, to me, that's crazy, but it's not crazy good. And it depends on what point you are in life too, because there might be a point in your life where you might be a little bit younger, where you find that stuff entertaining, and that's actually cool. Like, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
And instead of watching that stuff on TV, you get to live it.
Yeah.
And your heart be racing and stuff like that. I get that.
Some people get a rush off of that.
No, and that's, I told, if you're younger, maybe when I was younger and stuff like that, I'll be like, this is actually kind of fun and kind of cool. It's stuff you normally see in a movie. But at the stage I'm at right now, I'm keeping it Eric Clapton, Crazy Love.
Okay. All right, I respect that. What is Bleak's advice on relationships that are stagnant? How, if someone came to, see you for your advice, what would you tell them?
It's difficult for me because I haven't been in one, but like what I would say is just from the, like, it shouldn't get there. Like they talk about the honeymoon phase.
Right.
And I don't know what the timeline they have on that is, but like for me, the honeymoon phase never ends. Like, it never really ends. And if it does, I guess the only advice I can give without actually being in that situation is you have to put in work in the actual relationship. And you have to, again, like I was saying earlier, want to be there. Like, you know what? That's my actual answer to it. Like what I referenced earlier, like, if you don't really want that particular person, then you're going to have to rely on something. So like my point is, realistically, for me, find somebody you actually like from the jump. You have to think about the factors why people get into relationships. You have to think about the factors, right? We have to put these things on the table.
Right.
Initially, I'm talking about, like, you got to talk about, okay, one of the number one reasons why people get in a relationship is because of race. But that story is not being told because it's not romantic, right?
Right.
It's, oh, I love this. No. The reason why you linked up.
It's good.
The reason why you linked up is because he was the same race as you. The reason why you linked up is because he was the same age as you. The reason why you linked up is because your parents approved.
Right.
These are some of the reasons why people are linking up to begin with, because
Right.
he's in your economic bracket.
Right.
So then, of course, the relationship is going to get, or not of course, but it will likely get stagnant because you didn't base it on things like attraction, natural attraction. This is somebody,
Yeah.
that, not just physically, but physically is one thing, but then also like, hey, we were in the same class or whatever, we worked together. I got to know this person, I like them. So then you already started from a stagnant place.
But you see, that's why I had to ask you the question earlier about relationships being non-existent, because what I find is happening is that people are not getting into the relationships for the right reasons. That's what I think is like the cause of the problem.
Well, the reason why I didn't think it would go stagnant, and then again, when you brought that up earlier, I brought up certain communities. At that point, it comes down to communities because there's just certain communities that aren't going to let that die. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's certain communities that are like, man, I don't care if you're romantic. I do not care. You're getting married, you're pumping out some youths, and that's the end of the story.
So then, to dig a little deeper then, is that come from, I guess, the way we were raised?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
like, because
Yes.
a lot of, a lot of our families, they're not really built off of relationships for 30, 40, 50 years. It's usually just one parent in the household, or people are coming from broken homes, so they don't even know better.
Yes. Yes. Because here's the thing, and this is what we're talking about right now. If you're going to have a single parent household, come on now, like 9 times out of 10, what color are those people going to be?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Come on now. Like, we're going to talk about it if we're going to talk about it. So my point is, it's not a matter of like, it has to do with what you're seeing. And it's not just your family. It's your family. It's the families around you. It's the families on, it's people on TV with 10 BMs. And then you're like, oh, well, I look like that dude. Because they talk about like, I want to make like a black, superhero so the black kids can look up. How about just making a good black dad at home? So,
Speaking of that, continue. Finish what you have to say. Look at a guy like Nick Cannon right now. He's going crazy.
He's going crazy.
He's going crazy.
But at least his intentions are known. I can appreciate that because he's not like, hey, let's get married, let's build a family, and then I'm going to burn it down. He's
but it's not even worse. Just going here, one there, one over there, one back there.
No, but
and they're all giving birth around the same time.
The only reason I'm okay with Cannon is because he's being honest. Because I'm not going to sit here and say like there's a mold that everyone has to follow. But what I'm saying is Cannon's being honest.
True.
I'm saying when you, like I just said, when you build up a house and build up this whole fairy tale narrative just to break it down, I can't get down with that.
But how is he going to build the house if he has a kid, let's just say in Texas, then LA?
But he doesn't want to.
But isn't he making those same very kids that are going to grow up like, that look like us, that maybe come from broken homes? That's going to be the same thing.
I don't have a problem with Nick. If his kids grow up to be like him, I don't have a problem. If kids grow up to, have your own show, make money, and be able to financially support and be honest with females at the beginning. Because you got to remember, the honesty part is missing too. People are going into it with ulterior motives, and not being Nick. I mean, it's out there. Nick's being honest and supporting financially. Go for it.
But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, he's not staying with one. He's having multiple. So how is he going to cater to all the kids all over?
You're opening up Pandora's box because there's a school of thought. There's a school of thought out there, right? It's not just Mormons either. It's not just Mormons. Just from a primitive perspective that I don't necessarily subscribe to, but I don't denounce either, that biologically dudes should have the right to move like that. Is that my style? No, but I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, this is the style you have to. Hey, if Nick is out here making dough and he's telling girls
so you're saying a man of a certain stature can move that way then, I guess.
I just would suggest you have the money to support it, or else it's going to be a problem. But I'm not even talking about the money. The money's, yes, I am talking about money, but I'm also talking about the honesty part of it.
Yes, but I'm talking about the kids, because the kids may want a father figure to actually be there, not just sending a check every month or so. You need to build that bond.
I'm not going to judge Nick. If you
all right, true.
You can judge Nick.
Shout out to Nick.
I don't
shout
have
out
a problem
to Nick.
with Nick. I have a
shout out to Nick
problem with
Cannon.
People lying, and I have a problem with systematic issues.
Right.
These are the things I have problems with.
True. Okay. So to swerve on to a next topic now, because we've been on the relationship topic for a little bit now. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the conversation. We dug deep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if I ask you about the right of choice, what does that mean to you?
At this point in society, it means like the whole abortion thing.
Right.
And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because we have to talk about that.
Right.
We have to talk about that.
Right.
Because I've been talking about that, and I'm not even at this point in the conversation. I think it's more of a real, actual conversation because I want to know what people feel about that. Because basically, here's the narrative right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a short narrative. It's her body. She gets to do what she wants. I just feel like that's simplifying it way too much. Like, I'm even okay with the right of choice at the end of the day, but just don't put out some sloppy short narrative like it's a slogan, and then it just close the box and be like, we're not talking about this. No, we're talking about this because it's not just about your body. It's about your body. It's about somebody else's body that you bodied with. It's about a new body that's now been created.
Right.
We need to have this conversation as to why it's quite that simple, because one of the repercussions, there's many, but
there's a lot.
There's a lot. And one of the repercussions is you're growing a generation of girls who will eventually be women into thinking, cares. If, I'm just going to go out here, do what I want. Contraception is a second thought. If I get pregnant, I'll just get an abort. Is this a society we want to be in?
That's what it's coming to. I think they'll want to do an abortion if it's a certain type of dude. But if it's certain dudes that are making money, then I think all logic goes out the window.
So this is what I'm saying. So what are we talking about here? Because the other narrative, the second narrative is, but if I get raped, come on, that's not a common thing. Like, okay, those people, few people a year that happen to, walk right in there, do what you got to do. But I'm talking about people who are making like irresponsible decisions and then being given a get out of jail free card without consulting anybody.
So there's no accountability.
That's all I'm talking about, the accountability. I'm not even, because first of all, I want to make it clear, I don't have a problem with women or couples or whoever getting abortions. You want to do that, that's your business. It is what it is. I'm not even coming from a religious standpoint. I'm talking about from an accountability standpoint.
Right.
Like, just to be running out here crazy. Because you're also, like I said, going back, because that's one of the main things, misinforming little girls who are going to be women, because number one, they're just like not taking it serious. They're just like whatever. But number two, they don't know what it's actually like. Like they might not know what it's actually like. I'm talking about from front door to end and what's in between there. Like, that's not being put on the Grammy now.
No,
right?
It's not. No one's going to put that type of stuff on the gram.
So like, hey, you might have thought it was a walk in the park, but then all of a sudden you're like, whoa. So all I'm asking for is accountability, and for people, you know what? I'm actually just asking for people to practice safe sex. Safely.
But I don't think that's ever going to happen.
What are you talking about? Guys not slapping on Jimmy's?
Yeah. I don't think people are going to be practicing safe sex, to be honest. Well, because look at the rise of people having kids. It's like it's just nonstop.
Well, like, I mean,
and another thing I want to say is, I think dudes don't even have a say in whether.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the other side of it that I'm talking about. There's accountability side, but then it's also like, no, it's not just about your body. Like, yes, your body is part of the mix. Because you got to remember too now. Okay, so if it's just your body, then do the whole thing then. I'm just gonna be chilling poolside.
True.
Forget about the pregnancy for the rest of the whole thing. Then. It's just your body then.
True.
Like, it's not just your body.
True.
And they try to like simplify.
Yeah, and say the man doesn't get a say.
I don't have so my initial proposal, right? My initial proposal, because you know what the thing is, people talk about problems, but they don't really talk about the solutions. They're just like, this is a problem. This is a problem.
Yeah. There's never a solution. Never.
We're keeping it honest. They've made it to the where it's free, right? So people are just, so you don't even have to think about the financial repercussions. You're just walking into a clinic free of charge. You're like, take two and call me in the morning. It's wild. So it's funny, but it's actually what's happening.
True. It's real.
So what I'm proposing is, not officially, because I do need to like go through a couple of drafts, whatever. You can keep it free. You could keep it whatever you want. Just 2 signatures. Go home, properly talk to your partner, and be like, but et cetera, this. You guys walk into the facility.
Right.
2 signatures. You took 2 to make one. Take 2 to.
Yes. But do you think, do you ever see that ever happening? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. You just got to base it off of, I don't know. Hopefully the 2 can just have a discussion and,
it's not gonna happen. But it starts here with like, because for me, I'm not saying I'm the only or the first or anything like that to talk about the other side of it. But like if you do talk about it, and you have, like, say, for example, you're some type of a public figure,
right,
you get canceled.
Of course.
If this portion of the interview, and if I'm a public figure, I'm canceled. But no, it's not about being canceled. It's about, hey, like, we got to talk about the other options. We're not just going to attribute it to your body. That's too short of a slogan.
But, you know, if you're a public figure, you got to, like, walk the tightrope, you know? You can't really be too edgy, you know? You just got to basically stay in line, say no comment, and just look the other way, which is kind of bad.
Which is really bad because, like, these people who actually influence people, right? It's not just about the influencers on YouTube, them too, but, like, you know, the big dogs, like, they actually, if they say something, it'll get people thinking, and they can actually change people's opinions. So in terms of this whole thing that we're talking about right now, just put 2 signatures on the paper.
I agree. Hopefully we can get to.
It's not gonna get there.
We can get there, but I don't know, man. I don't know about
either,
that.
I just want 2 signatures on the paper.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Okay. True. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I've also heard that you have some side hustles. Talk about that. Let the people know about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that too. Because we're living in a day and age, especially these days, where people starting their own businesses.
Correct.
Right? You had many young entrepreneurs on this particular podcast.
Correct.
Right? And one of the things you do need when you have your own business is an accounting.
Correct.
Is an accountant. So yeah, I do my thing on the side a little bit. Like I work, it's not my main job. I work as an accountant, but then on the side, I do people's taxes. I do bookkeeping for people, or even just special projects. Which is big right now, like I said, because people are now starting their own businesses. So you need to have somebody, or you could do it yourself. But it's not just about doing people's taxes. There's various different ways of doing business, showing you how to do it, showing you tax savings, different opportunities. Because it's not just about like finishing your tax return and sending it in. It's about getting the best possible return. It's also just about running your business. It's about HSC. There's a lot of different things. But it's also not just about entrepreneurs too. Another thing that's going on right now, it's been going on for a minute, is real estate.
Right.
Real estate. So like real estate accounting is also something else I do. And so for anybody else for anybody who has a house or multiple houses or anything like that, I can help.
Talk about some stories. Like, have you like changed people's lives from being their accountant, or like what have you heard? What have they told you?
No,
or like what advice have you given people when you go and sit down with them to help them?
Well, from the real estate perspective, like it's kind of like owning your own business, actually, in a way, just in terms of like income and expenses and things like that.
But do a lot of people know about like the expenses?
No, not necessarily. Well, some people. I'm not going to speak for everybody. Some people do, some people don't. So like having somebody to kind of guide you through that helps. Like knowing the type of things that you can write off, knowing the things you can't write off, and knowing how that works from a real estate perspective, but also from an entrepreneurial perspective. But in terms of like helping people, changing their lives, no, I mean, I wouldn't take it to that extent, but helping them just have a more efficient life.
True.
A more worry-free life, right? Which is kind of what everybody is going for. So that's kind of what I aim to do.
So have you worked with people closely, and if so, have they sent you like oh my God, thank you so much, you taught me about this and that?
Yeah, I got a lot of positive feedback.
Okay.
I get a lot of positive feedback, and over the years, I just enjoy doing it, to be honest with you. I learned a lot too during the process, because you got to keep in mind too, just when you get to like a lawyer standpoint, accountant, even doctor, it's not that you necessarily know the whole thing. Like you're at a position where you're able to work and continue to learn. So by doing people over the years, I also gained a lot from them too, to the point now where I'm a very functional and knowledgeable and comfortable person. But like, no, it's a two-way street. I just, to be honest with you, one of the best things about it is you also get to know people. Yeah. Because you're in the back and forth with them. So you actually kind of build a relationship. Not just like one way, like a two-way thing. You're kind of like, we're kind of friends. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of fun that way.
Okay, so if a person watching this right now wanted to call you or message you for your services, where can they find you?
So I don't even, because one of the things, just from an entrepreneurial perspective, I would say, and like a lot of viewers who are watching right now will be able to understand, the biggest or one of the biggest obstacles in starting your own business is time.
Right.
There's money and all sorts of things. There's also creative and also just having a vision. We get all these things. I'm not saying it's all about time, but like time, right? So for me, I'm just on kind of like a word of mouth basis right now.
Okay.
I mean, so the people who are watching, they obviously know how to get in contact with you, and you know how to get in contact with me. But the reason why I don't necessarily have a website or anything like that is because I know I don't have enough time to like take on like tons and tons of business. But word of mouth,
True.
You know, somebody watching, I can help. And so that's kind of the way I operate.
Okay. Because I know you're a busy man, so I got one last thing to ask you.
Scene.
Before I let you go about your day,
Scene.
What valuable information would you let your younger self know back now, if that makes sense? Or like, you get what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, I'm going to keep it to like one thing. Like I could name, my goodness, like a lot of things, but like the one.
State them.
There's like certain like financial moves that you may or may not have made, where if I'm looking back on it, I'm not even talking about like financial mistakes, just like I should have maybe gone this way or invested in this as opposed to that. Not that like there was, like, you know what I mean? Just better financial decisions, but everybody has that. Like everybody's going to be like, yeah, if I knew what I knew now, I would have made different financial decisions. The biggest thing, one thing, and this part of the interview could be half an hour, but like I'll just keep it to one thing, is being calm and being present at all times.
What do you mean by that?
Just being calm and being present at all times, and like I find that is like a key pillar for success and kind of anything that I've really been successful at, like whether it's parenting, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, whatever it is, being present in the moment and being calm, and that way you're able to process information properly, you're able to adjust to changes as they happen, and you're less likely to make mistakes.
I like that. I might name this episode that. Yeah. I might name this episode that. That's gonna be the title. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Because like
present and calm.
Yes, be present and calm, because you can say those things back to yourself while you go through any type of hardships throughout life. Period. So I like that. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, that's my number one for me.
I'm gonna use that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all the questions I had today, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate you for coming through, taking the time out of your busy day to come through and talk to me.
It feels like we've been talking for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's about an hour or so, just under an hour. But yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Talking for like 2 seconds, but
yeah. So before I let you go, what do you think of the podcast, man? Or this episode today that we did?
Well, I like the episode we did today because, like we talked about before we did the episode, it was going to be easy because, me and you are always just talking.
Yeah.
In general, so this was going to be easy. So this one, it was good. I liked it. But just in general, I like the way things are going. I like the type of guests that you've been bringing on. I like the fact that you're switching it. Like, you got entrepreneurs, and then sometimes you're doing general conversation, hot topics and things like that. I like how the production has really, really improved as time goes on. And that's the name of the game for anything you're doing. You want to see improvement.
Exactly.
Nobody comes into anything, a finished product. What you're looking for is somebody to improve. And I've seen a lot of improvement, and I like what I'm seeing, man.
Okay, I respect that. I appreciate that.
100%.
One last thing, though.
Yeah.
See, I know you're a person that's listened to every episode that I've done. So what was your favorite guest that I've had on thus far?
Oh, my goodness.
That's a question I'm going to ask every guest that I get on here, just to see if they actually listen to all my episodes.
Yeah, you know what? I like that one. Oh, man. I got to think about that one for a second. Off the top of my head, I'm not saying it was my number one, but one that I liked Jen.
Okay. We spoke about anxiety and depression.
The anxiety episode. I think that was an important episode. Man, which other ones?
All right, you know what? I'm not gonna do that to you. Give me your top three.
Top three. I like the Joe Saki interview.
Okay, Kazumba. Yes.
The Zumba episode. I like Jen, and I like the twins.
Okay, CMOS.
Yeah. The CMOS, which I got to get some actually. I gotta get some, to be honest with you.
You hear that, Rachel and Rebecca? He needs some.
Yeah, get at Matt to get at me because I'm not even playing it.
You need some CMOS.
I'm not even playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, bro. You were my first in-person episode, man. I appreciate that, man. And hopefully we have many, many more. Thank you.
100%. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. Shout out to him.
Creep up, it can really get messy. Brown ting, come on phone, wanna check me. I ain't really tryna kick it like Messi, but her head game good, so messy. When she hear this song, she gon' text me. She gon' be like, shit's really